not saying that there should be no election, but what we are saying that the 2015 election will be a red-lettered event to Nigeria and for Nigeria. In 2012, May 16th precisely, General Muhammad Buhari, a presidential aspirant, said, and I quote, "If what happened in 2011 should happen again in 2015, by the grace of God, the dog and baboons would be soaked in blood." Shortly after that, a few other political actors have spoken in the direction of Nigeria's quality being impaired in 2015. Such actors range from Asari Dokubo to the United States of America. The 2015 election thereby becomes a critical factor in deciding whether Nigeria will remain a corporate entity. With utmost sense of humility and respect, I set the best vibration of the day by saying, "Good day, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen. I am Olaitan Zainab, representative of Faculty of Social Sciences, and I stand on swerve to convince you that the 2015 election we will not make but mar Nigeria." Given the above position of local and international actors, as well as several unimaginable contradictions that bedevil Nigeria at present, the 2015 election will indeed mar Nigeria. There is need to define the key concepts in the proposition, which are election and mar. According to Arrow 1963, election is a formal decision-making process by which a population chooses an individual to hold public office, while mar is to damage the good condition of something, to impair the quality of something. In the words of Bruno Korashidi, history is the light that illuminates the past and a key that unlocks the door to the future. Let me even historicize the political entity called Nigeria as a prelude to knowing how the 2015 election may mar it after a period of 100 years. Nigeria was a product of historical accidents. The merger of different micronationalities in 1914 eroded the birth of Nigeria. Was there a social contract before this marriage of inconvenience? No. This merger was done for administrative and exploitative reasons. This fact reflected in Los Lucas' book titled Dual Mandate in Tropical Africa. As a result of this, all socio-political structures of Nigeria has been defective right from the outset. And like the common proverb, the house cannot stand if the foundation is destroyed. Election is a structure of democracy and governance. It started in 1922 as a result of the elective principle introduced by the Clifford Constitution. The elective principle sowed the seed of discourse between the North and the South. The South was given the right to elect, while the North was left in darkness. Political consciousness and level of education was better in the South, while none existed in the North. Election in Nigeria has been characterized by massive rigging, stuffing and election boxes, results doctoring, as a result of the zero-sum game mentality of our political gladiators. From the 1964 to the 2011 general election, Nigeria's corporate existence has been questioned. Even the 1993 election that was adjudged to be free and fair was not credible. The 2015 election will mar Nigeria, considering the fact that some northern elite has spitting blood and fire that if Jonathan will contest and get elected as the president, they will make the country ungovernable for him. Whereas, the people of the South feels if he does not recontest, even if it means shedding of blood, they will make him recontest. So it is based on this foregoing assertion that I am here to convince you that the 2015 election will mar Nigeria. My points are, attitude of our political class. According to Vilfredo Pareto, Mosca and Michel, the elite share three C's, which are consciousness, coherence, and conspiracy. These three C's are used towards state development and order. However, the Nigerian elites have used this in instigating violence and insecurity during and before election. Nigeria lacks a cohesive dominant class that can foster hegemony to institute social order. That is why Claude Ake, in his monograph, Is Africa Democratizing, said, "Our political elites are allergic to democracy as well as neurotic in their pursuit of power. And such mentality would do no good to Nigeria, but to damage our political system, political culture." The 2015 election will mar Nigeria because we have a parochial political culture. Most people often see the election as a battlefield, which is an attestation to where our political gladiators make use of thugs and mercenary in order to win election at all costs. This is also why an average Nigerian is made to believe that violence is the language of election, preferring the bullet to the ballot, and this will lead to chaos in Nigeria come 2015. Weak institution. according to Robinson and Asemoglu in their book titled Why Nations Fail. Nations fail as a result of weak institutions. Our military has not been able to protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Nigeria because its orientation was mercenary. It was meant to protect the ruling class. It has become a pawn in the hands of the ruling class to intimidate and combat election. Our judiciary has been weak in settling election controversies because of corruption and nepotism. And you tell me that the 2015 election will not mark Nigeria when these institutions are weak. Well, it's man Nigeria considering this fact. Also, dependent nature of our Electoral Commission. To ask, who funds the Electoral Commission? A People's Democratic Party-led government. Who appoints the chairman of the Electoral Commission? A People's Democratic Party-led government. The case of the Electoral Commission and the People's Democratic Party is that of Nemo Judas Inkosaswa, meaning you cannot be a judge in your own cause. Since INEC is not independent, the perceived partiality will create uprising in Nigeria because the results will be seen to favor the incumbent if the opponent loses at the poll. Political entrepreneur. Political economists like Bade Onimode and Claudake asserted that politics is seen as a source of wealth, an avenue to reap back profit from the state. The state is more or less like a privatized entity where the so-called investors, the political godfathers, must reap their profit. So if the election result does not go in their favor, they will use all means possible to make sure it goes in their favor because they know the economic gain they will reap from it, which will damage our economic system. Power of incumbency. In Nigeria, a serving president has never recontested and lost in Nigeria. The 2015 election will mar Nigeria because the opposition party without enormous resources like that of the incumbent would employ all possible means in order to dislodge the incumbent. According to Schneider 2012, the incumbent can manipulate election process through manipulation of electoral tribunals and the use of state resources to bankroll election campaign. The 20 billion that is missing was alleged to have been reserved by the incumbent to combat the 2015 election. And you tell me the 2015 election will make Nigeria. Insecurity. According to Section 14, Subsection 2, Paragraph B of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of the government. However, the northeastern part of Nigeria is nothing but a semblance of the Opatian state of nature. Now, to ask, how can a free, fair, and credible election be conducted in a violence-ridden environment? It is impossible. And on the other hand, if the election is not conducted in that part of the country, whosoever emerges as the winner will suffer legitimacy crisis, which can lead to war, come 2015. Lack of moral ethics. In Nigeria, we lack ethics such as honesty, patience, and hard work. Violence and other means are seen as a normal procedure to get to the upper strata. There are no laws punishing offenders that engage in electoral crime, such as underage voting. With the approach of the 2015 election, lack of moral ethics will mar our democratization process in Nigeria. To even ask, was there a democracy in Nigeria? No. All this will only damage our political system, economic system. It will cause a dent on our image, both locally and internationally. Well, it is good to be patriotic, like my opponents are doing, but honestly, only someone who is looking through rose-colored glasses will tell us that the 2015 election will make Nigeria, because self-deception is the greatest form of deception. So I leave you with this word, that the only thing we learn from new election is the fact that we've learned nothing from the previous one. So I stand to conclude that the 2015 election will not in no way make Nigeria, but it will only mar Nigeria. Thank you.